Yeah, so by the time they released them out of prison, well, they had a new generation of you that are thinking that they were the new ones in charge. Yeah, like actually waiting to go for like tests, have control over like what they see the adults contain and control specific on that. Yeah, while the material is in the experience of being naive into like I don't know whatever plans that they had. What's up? Yeah, right in front of them, their own state will go off and like take their own slaves, yeah, from prisons and the homeless system over here, and then send them off into a field that they invaded and turn into a killing zone. Yeah, and eventually by the time they fill the mission, that's way to like a lethal activity with like high machine system that go off and blow them up or shoot them down. That's off on like airspace. Yeah, they were making them fight to the death inside of a glider ring over here. Yeah, to go off and appeal to their allies that got stuck in different prison system where they had to like yeah, I cannot make this up. I'm sorry. Their allies had to survive a prison system back in the days where they were eating each other and like doing gladiator ring and fights and stuff. And then actually somewhere they got to escape and at the top floors of some of these buildings around, especially yeah, by being the survivors that are doing the race for some of the other system over here to then go off and create the teeter or that transnational economic chain, depending on which region that they were in specifically. So in this case, it was Russia. Yeah. So because of the fact that they had so many agents from globally from like different ethnicities and different races that are like special mission for some of them. Yeah. So so they did that survival like they were traumatized and like contain the grudge. Yeah. That's why they post the videos on the online space. We are showcasing that they're abusing slaves inside the war zone over here to then appeal to some of the other spy units that they have in foreign nations over here conducting foreign mission for the grand ambition or whatever they had on the space side. Yeah, because it's the old order over here. That's the bosses on the space side. Yeah, so what they went to, they felt as if they had the right to go off and like, be the ones over here to beat that person over here to that degree and then go off and like brutalize the person. Yeah, it's out of a space over here where they try to replicate World War II. Yeah, the Russians. I cannot make this up myself. Well, again, I'm glad that I live in a space where I get to choose prison time over a draft, and that's legal. Yeah, and I don't have to fight in the Siberian front over here. What's up? Yeah, because right now right now it's like 60 degrees. Yeah, while the weather went on to like shift to like 90 degrees in the desert. Yeah, it's like the middle of April. Yeah, so I said by the end of the day, yeah. Nah, I said again, my dude, all that training that you put on forward, that's way to that magnitude. I'll be able to breathe for the day over here until like what it looks at a certain point will turn it to a nightmare for you when you get hit by a missile system from a distance that go off and tear up your legs. So no amount of training will go off to prepare you for a kinetic strike. That's way to a volcano or a special assault. Yeah, the only thing that prepares for that is intelligence and intellect to be able to somewhat use methodology and systems to go off and calculate physics and then be able to somewhat counter that physics or that problem scientifically. Yeah, as if you're doing surgeries and stuff on them. So yeah, we got lucky. Yeah, again, like I said, once you go in the agent space, the minute you get to see the agent space here, how much they hit each other around the space, that they use poison and gases. And like small communities, they use pack tactics. Yeah, as a pack itself, where they somewhat integrate the family as a clan itself to then go off and create a physical layout of human beings. Yeah, to then go off and release chemicals on the space here from one group to the next and poison each other to death. And somewhat play for lottery over here. That's why it's like, hey, we all release poison at the same time. Then eventually we leave it up to like Buddha. If you're not chosen, then you death, nihilism. I'm sorry, you just happen to die because of space or something. That was your fate and your destiny. Yeah, namaste. Yeah, so now you understand why is it that you rather have certain systems. Yeah, and over this system we are as a civilization, a locust. I'm sorry. You're right. No, so right now I got a cyber girl over here. Yeah, that's ruthless as a computer weapon. Yeah, but you already know what they all want specifically, power. So they all want nuclear power. Yeah, the type of power on the special outside. Just to have that ability to brag as a human being. Because that's part of your characteristic. Yeah, so I said again, human civilization is still intact. Even though I had 1 million dead over the last 2 years inside of a war zone that nobody asked for but the Russians. Right, because you have to understand the minute they create a nuclear weapon, they create a hive, the potential, the dangerousness of a nuclear weapon to go off and like materialize on the human beings or carry that brutality. Yeah, that hatred or the force of the destruction and be able to kill an entire civilization to a city. Yeah, to one person. So they put that violence inside like one group of people or one set of people that go off and worship the devil within a different military system over here. What's that? Yeah, that kill, they train to kill, all that stuff like that then go off and like some acquire out their plans, other groups, based off their instincts or whatever they have as a secret. That's way to counter other groups and all that. So when they fight up close and personal, that fight is dirty. It's so dirty that the torture methods, all that stuff like that is right down grimy. Masai and everything relates to war crimes that we censor out. Yeah, and everything that's called state secrets and stuff. And he has his own court, his own system. Yeah, I said by the time they done there, by the time you get to hear from like the board itself, when they say fuck that target over here, the dude is dead, blow his brains out. Yeah, fuck him up on the space out, blow his ass up. By the time you hear blow his ass up beyond the command center over here, what's up? Yeah, you already know the type of psychology that's involved into it with your military mindset on the space out. By the time you have a dude over here telling you to like blow your ass up, he's inside a space station or something like that. Yeah, that was your enemy over here. I saw that told you directly without you even knowing that he was watching you, that he fucking hated you. I saw, and they just wanted to see you in pieces on the ground over here as meat. Yeah, and I bet you that's the psychology or the alter ego that you're fighting as a hive within a special assault that goes off and puts special human beings that are more potential than you because of the fact that they carry off a system that's way to a nuclear technology. Yeah, with a grand goal that they already somewhat skimmed forward 500 years in advance. And very few of us, people like myself here that exist, that's able to somewhat change or alter technology. Yeah, from a law, with new field of statistics and analysis, get to go off on like somewhat throw a wrench inside their plans over here. What's up? Yeah, and then eventually make them readjust the entire plan with new technology and system and potentials, just as demonstrated within that computer program that I wrote on the space app. Immediately, by just putting that on YouTube as a video itself, goes off on reshape civilization. Yeah, I cannot make this up. What's up? Because whoever didn't know that tactic and that technique itself get to go off and get a piece of an instruction that goes off and enlighten them. What's up? So the minute I get to showcase how to go off and I do hold your shizzle, I quickly do a technical read that go off and can be replicated 1 million times over under less than 1 week as a project itself, to go off and like build this car over there carefully down to like the tiny detail of his grill. Yeah, by hands. What's up? Yeah, immediately human enlightenment. All they do is just copy, replicate, and immediately. They don't feel it, no sense, nothing like that. They just go off and develop their own unique sense and tools. And if you know, monkey see, monkey do. So immediately, just me existing and be able to publish that video on YouTube. Reshape civilization by coincidence. Because I'm fucking special. I have a unique skill that other people, billions of people don't have. And I said by the time they try to go off and get it, the cost is too heavy for them on the space here because of the fact that it's a field of mathematics and quick thinking on computer space. And by the time they were trying to compete with me, I think that the slot was there on like the Call of Duty servers over here to go off and be on the top 500 players worldwide globally. That's how I was open for them. But apparently, by the time you see the old man over here go off and touch a controller for the first time, he doesn't know how to go navigate to the menu or go off and open up his sound, change the sound system, or even go off and look at the specs. Yeah, it's hardware within the system over here. What's up? So all of a sudden he goes off and he tries to play Call of Duty into a map where I don't have to like go off and do gun duels. Yeah, as a gunslinger over here. Yeah, where we use teams to then go off and like systematically create a machine system to be able to somewhat counter the other team, no matter how good the player is. Yeah, even if it was a fatality, the groups are on the space. I thought, apparently the rules of that system allow you to create a team play on the space that counter even some of the best players on the space, and then be able to somewhat quickly go off and try to like gain points to be able to somewhat quickly form that machine system as desperately as possible to then go off and obtain a superiority over the team specifically. So it's almost like a chessboard that you prepared, and the minute you block them in, however special, it's a checkmate. Right, so I said by the time that I do the real, when a younger person will go off and try to like walk the steps that I did specifically myself. Yeah, I need to use a gatekeeper step over here. That's way to like learning physics and mathematics, which should take more than 6 months for a year, depending on the intensity of it. Yeah, and then to go off, like take another 6 months or a year to then go off and get used to like the depth, yeah, the machine system. Yeah, and then eventually it takes another year or more to go off and like chase after what I chase specifically, and then be able to use that skill and that technique to then go off and develop some senior course especially. So even though I fell asleep for only for 5 years and then refine my skill, yeah, to this date I probably you walk the path that I'm walking more on the space, and it was not you over here that wanted to clearly demonstrate. Yeah, like that over the cyberspace around. So, well, I had to demonstrate to be able to deter, and then we should go off and finish my project around the space that I was selected for. Naturally around the space, and do you use my logic, my methodology to do off and solve my problems that you have a hands into. I feel very, very, very confident. Yeah, that I could go off and reach out. Yeah, as a methodology to be able to produce the output now that I'm predicting how I'll be producing more on the space side. So I'm not too worried about some first and of course the space, but apparently you want it to be me. So the road was open for you for 5 years directly. Do you still need me to go off and hold your hands and like go off and like try to teach you how to draw a line around the space? Do you finally see a demonstration from the adults and then go off and feel confident? You could go off and copy or replicate the adult, how easy it was to do so across the space side. Do you need me to go off and like break my ankle? So I'll go off and do a 360 dunk and like finally do it, and then we should go off and showcase to you. I broke my ankle and like what was related to like me doing all the hard work on like breaking the ankle and then going to get the experience to then go off and learn how to do that dunk over my side. Right. I said again, that's the type of fucking losers I got from the system over here. Yeah, that goes off and it's like get lost, nigga. What the